Well, hello everyone, and welcome to another episode with your girl Audrey Codner from ACG Math Tutoring. Hopefully you guys are having a lovely Sunday evening. Time is flying. Right now we got August 7th coming in and actually going out. So if you are looking, supposedly we're going to have a nice little full moon tonight. So, ow to you. Okay, so what we're actually going to be doing today, we're working on domain and range. So we're not so much going to be looking at, is it a relation, is it a function? Maybe a little bit. But we're going to speak a little bit further into domain and range. So as you guys are coming on in, go ahead and tap away. Right now we got like 4 people coming in, which is fabulous. And if you are wanting to kind of like pass by, possibly you might not be able to watch the whole thing because I know there's going to be some football on. It's football season. All right. So I know some people are like, I want to watch it, but I can't. I'm working. But if you go here, okay, if you go here, my YT, and you type in this, or even you just type in my name, you can see all of the YouTube replays. So all the replays since February the 2nd is all listed there, including the one that I did last night, okay? Give me some time to upload this on there, but I will definitely have that on there either later on tonight or maybe early tomorrow morning. But if you're there, I would love for you guys to do these 5 things, all right? It's a nice, easy, it's free. It hits on all the concepts of Algebra 1, maybe some concepts of Algebra 2, and then also even some basic concepts, especially if you're dealing with your GED, your ASVAB, your ACCUPLACER, or any of the assessed areas. Okay, so this is where you can go. All right, so what we're looking at is our domain and range. So before we go to our example, let's take a quick sneak peek on what we're talking about. Now, there's also a couple symbols that you probably haven't seen in a long time, especially my double R. When you have your double R, that means all real numbers. So that means it's taking everything from negative infinity all the way to positive infinity. It's dealing with your counting numbers, you know, your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Your whole numbers, which is starts at 0 and it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and etc. Your integers, which is your positive and negative numbers. And those rational numbers, which is your decimals and some of your fractions. But when we're talking about domain, we're talking about the list of your x's. And if you guys remember like the function engine, you had to put something into the engine and then something came out. Well, what you put into the function engine, that is your input. That's your domain. What you got out, that is your range. That is the list of your outputs, okay? So we're going to identify the domain and range. And then when I say, is it a function? Well, just remember the key thing, make sure that your x's do not repeat, all right? So as you guys are coming in, hey, girl, don't follow me, 13. How are you? Okay. Marvelli, hey, how are you? Welcome in, welcome in. Carmela, I see you in here. Hello, everyone. Go ahead and tap. Let's see if we can get to that 1K real quick so we can get right to our session. And as you guys are tapping, remember starting this week, I am going to post the hours and which days. I will be shortening our free sessions. So right now, our free sessions, we're going to have 4 days of free sessions. And then there's going to be some specialty days. So right now I'm going to be working on my GED people, my ASVAB people, and my college algebra people. Okay, so I'm going to see about, I know some people asked about praxis. I know some people asked about T's, but I'm not getting a whole flux of people asking. But in the meantime, if you want to come on in for the GED sections, because we're still going to be working on those algebra components as well as the arithmetic reasoning. So I'm going to post which days are which. Again, the beginning of the session, it's going to be just like a regular free session. I'm going to go over a couple examples. Then I'm going to stop, and then we're going to go into like the paid section for people that really want the help. All right, almost there, 25 taps, and we are ready to go. You got right to tapping, no problem. Hey, Janice, hey, neighbor. I'm still tripping on that. That's hilarious. All right, here we go. So we have a relation already set up. I'm going to see if I can fit it all in. Okay, so a relation is basically your sets of points, your X's and your Y's, living up into a set. Now, the way that if we were to say, is it a function? Remember what I said earlier. It's a function when my X's don't repeat. When I take a look, and I know right now it just seems like a whole set of numbers, but you have to get used to seeing it horizontally, because sometimes in most of the tests, they will have it jam-packed just like this. And you're going to have to see where the beginning and the ending parentheses are so you can divvy it up. Now, if they ever put it like this in a test and you're like, I can't really see it, all we have to do is put some slashes in between. Right where their commas are, put slashes there. So hopefully that will help break up the visual. Excuse me. So help break up the visual so you can see all the different order pairs. Now, looking here, I got a 2 here, I got a 2 here. I have a 0 here, I have a 0 here. I have a 3 here, I have a 3 here. So they're repeating. If they're showing up more than once, my X values are repeating. So if I want to say, is this a function with a question mark? Well, the answer to that will be new. Okay? And the reason why my X's, like 2 and 2, they're repeating. 3 and 3, they're repeating. 0 and 0, they're repeating. But now, we're not really focusing on is it a function or is it not a function. We're focusing on domain and range. Okay. So your domain is basically the list of your X's. Now, some teachers and some districts will teach it as such. We will draw a nice fancy bracket, okay? I like to say it's a heart, it's a nose, and it's a baby's butt. But the domain is the list of my X's. So we're going to say the set of X, and then we put a vertical line straight through, which means such that. So we have our fancy bracket, an X, and a line straight through. And all we're doing is listing our X's. Now, we already know that a couple of our X's are repeating. You don't have to write them twice. Okay? If they repeat twice, you just have to write it down one time, and it'll be nice if you put it in numerical order. So the lowest number is 0. Then the next number is 2. And the next number is 3. And then we close it with half of a heart, a nose, and a baby's butt. That's how you draw it. Okay? Shabani, how are you? Welcome on in. So that's how you're making your listing of your domains. Now your range is going to deal with your Y values. Okay, again, half of a heart, nose, baby's butt. Okay. You'll never forget it. You will never forget it. I know it's ridiculous, but you will never forget it. So since my range is dealing with my Y's, this is how it reads. The set of y such that. And then all we're doing is listing what our y values are. And it would be nice if it was in numerical order. So the lowest number that we have in the y's is a -1. All right. What else do we have? We have a 1. Okay. The -1's repeated. The 1's repeated. So we just have to write that down once. We have 1, 2, as well as we have 1, 3. Okay, so if it repeats, we only have to write it down once. Okay, but we need to put it, and it would be nice to put it in numerical order, starting from lowest to the highest. Okay, good. All right. So that's what you're doing with your domains. So if they give you order pairs like this and they tell you what is the domain, that means you're looking at the X values. Remember, when they do an order pair, let me put it in a different color over here. Order pairs, it goes X, then Y. Okay, this is how you read the order pair. Think of the alphabet. It starts with X, then the next one is Y. Instead of say X, Y, Z, it's just going to be X, Y. Okay. All right. So that's how you pull it out when they give you order pairs. Now I'm going to instill what we were working on for, I don't want to say the past couple of days, with inequalities. So remember we were doing our graphs. So I'm going to try to put a couple graphs in. I didn't know how big this was going to get, so that's why I didn't tape them ahead of time. So it's just taping with Audrey. Sorry. So we're going to just put this bad boy so we can have it. And I'm just going to tape a couple of them down so we can kind of get started and see what it is. Some of them I know I'm going to have to zoom in, and I'm perfectly fine doing that for you guys. So just let me know. Okay, thank you for keep tapping. I appreciate it. Yeah, because I know everyone's like, oh, she's got a tape. This is so... You'll be fine. You'll be just fine. As soon as it comes off my finger. There we go. All right. So I'm gonna hold on to this one. Okay. So let me zoom in. So we have our first graph. So with our first graph, I notice they're counting by 5s. Okay, hooray. But I notice there is an open circle at -5. There is a red line that's continuing all the way to -infinity. I'm going to put that over here. Okay, so it's going all the way to -infinity. And if we wrote that as an inequality, it would have been x is less than -5. Okay, if I wrote that as an inequality, it's dealing with numbers that are going low all the way to -infinity, so that's going to be less than. Okay, we're not including the -5 because it's an open circle, so that's why there isn't a line underneath the inequality sign. All right, so this is what it would look like as an inequality. But if I want to write it as an interval notation, so we know the interval notation is going to be, you write the smallest number first, which is -infinity. And then we go to -5. And the infinity signs always get a parenthesis. And since -5 is not being included, that also gets a parenthesis. Okay. So that's like a little quick refresher of what we did past couple of days. Okay? But now we're only talking about what is our domain and what is our range. Well, one, we don't have any y values. It's going left to right, so we only have x values. Okay? So it's kind of tough for you to really figure all that out. But I just wanted to refresh on this part. So if I come over and they give us one number line, I might have to zoom in a little bit more so you can see it. There's an open circle here at -3, but there's a closed circle here, or a dot, at 5. How would I write this as an inequality? Let's start there. How would I write that if you want to take a guess? If you're not sure, put a question mark, because it'll help me understand, like, because some people were here last time, some people weren't. So it'll be kind of cool to know. All right, thank you for the follows, guys. All right, thank you for the question mark, the truth. Okay, Liberty is saying -3 with the parenthesis and 5 with the bracket. Okay. Is this precocious? Maybe. Pre-calculus? I figured we would say that. No, this isn't pre-calculus. This is algebra 1. All right, Shell, thank you for the honesty. Okay, Julian saying -3 is less than x, less than 5. Close, Julian, because you're doing a mixture of inequality as well as interval. So it's got to be one or the other. Okay, you forgot? That's okay. All right, Jen, well, welcome in. Thank you for coming and stopping by. Cool. Okay, so let's take a look. Okay. Ooh, almost there, Chobani. There's couple things that are missing. There's 2 things that are missing with yours, but you're thinking, which is awesome. Okay, you guys are right there, right on the cusp. Okay. So if I wanted to do it as an inequality, I have 2 numbers. Okay. The 2 numbers. Hey, Jordan Squared, how are you? So we have one number at the -3, the other number at the 5. And what goes in between is the x. Because left and right, you're basically talking about the x-axis. Since at the -3, it's an open circle, okay, that means we got less than with no line underneath, because we're not including the -3. But with the 5, it's a closed circle, a dot. So that means it's going to be less than or equal to. And you're probably saying, well, Audrey, how do you know it's going to be less than? Well, if I look at 5 and I'm shading all the signs that are lower than 5, that's going to be less than. And when it comes to this compound inequality, your inequality signs always go in the same direction. So if I can figure out this is going to be less than or equal to, that means this has to be less than and or something. Okay? They always go in the same direction. You never have one going to the left and one going to the right. If you do, very rarely you see that as a test question. But if you do, you can't do anything with it. Okay? Can't do anything with it. Because when it's written like this, that means it's an and statement. It's going to overlap. Just think of the line as x. Yes, exactly. Okay, so it doesn't include it because it's not filled in. Correct. Okay, but I think I know what you're talking about. All right. Now, that's the inequality. Okay, but if I want to do it as an interval, That means I have my lowest number, which is -3. I have my highest number, which is 5. Okay? There is a reason why I'm trying to redo this. Okay? Just hold on. There's a reason why. So, when do I use a comma and or? When do you use comma and or? And or what? And or what, Matthew? I was like, when you're doing interval notation, you're using a comma. If you notice that the shading is happening in the middle, this is always an and statement. I'm going to show you an or statement next. An and or statement. Okay, that's what I was kind of thinking. Okay. So now, if it's meeting in the middle, it's an and statement. If they're overlapping but going in one direction, or they're going into two separate directions, that's an or statement. Okay. So since my 3 is not a solid, it's an open circle, that's going to be a parenthesis. And since 5 is a closed circle, that's going to be a bracket. Okay. All right, so let me grab this one. So when I come over for this one, this is considered an or statement. Because you see how they're going into two separate directions. Okay, that's all right. Okay, so when they're going in two separate different directions. But we can still do our inequalities. Okay, so that means we're going to have two separate inequalities. You're going to have one inequality where our x is going to be less than -4, writing the word or. The other one is going to be our x is greater than 4. Reason why I'm not putting a line underneath is because both on the -4 as well as the 4, they're open circles. They're not including those points. Okay. So we kind of introduced ourselves a little bit to this with the union. So this one we're looking at from -infinity all the way up to -4. And -infinity always get a parenthesis. And since -4 is not included, that's also a parenthesis. So for the x is greater than 4, that means 4 is my lowest number. And positive infinity is my highest number. So parenthesis always goes with our infinity symbol. And since we're not including the 4, that's also a parenthesis. But anytime we have a gap and we have to do an interval notation, we are making it into a union. We're putting that U. Okay, so we're kind of joining it. Okay. So interval notation, yes. Inequality notation, yes. Will you see this union symbol? Yes. You'll see it for ASVAB, GED, ACCUPLACER, SAT, ACT, T's test. I'm not sure. That I'm not sure. But I know inequalities is on the T's test. Okay. All right. I'm so earthy. How are you? Thank you. All right. So, reason why I'm doing this refresher, because remember, today's session is about domain and range. So when it comes down to certain figures, we're going to have to figure out what is the domain and range. And I'm going to be truthful. It'll be so much easier if you write it in interval notation. So I'm going to put this one up here. And if you guys have any questions about the math, gotta emphasize that nowadays. Okay, so you're probably saying, oh God, what's this? Well, this is the reason why. Now we're not going from one dimension, we're going to a two-dimensional. And we're going to try to figure out the domain and the range. Okay. So the U is representing union. So it's basically we're putting them together. The reason why this is a parenthesis is because we're not including the 4 for this first inequality. Okay. All right. Awesome. My GED class. Will things like this be on? I love how we call it, will things like this be on it? Yes. There is no escaping it. Yes, this stuff will be on here. But hopefully I'm going to break it down enough that you can be like, okay. Because remember, this is probably the first time that you've seen something like this. So I'm expecting to freak out. But we'll be all right. Okay. It's okay. You're freaking out. Stop it. All right. So now, just like I mentioned earlier, because I know some people are just coming in here. So as I mentioned, the domain is the list of your X's. The range is the list of your Y's. So if we want to get the domain of this lovely figure, I'm going to zoom in before I start writing. So the domain is my X's. So I'm taking a look. I have an endpoint here, and I have an open circle here. So when I say my X's, that means if I come over here, this is nowhere near. This will be like, say, -3. -3 is not even hitting this red graph, right? But at -2, there's a stopping point right here. So like the order pair for that is going to be -2, +1. Okay. Now, there's an endpoint over here. And it looks like it's happening at +2. So the coordinate of that point is 2, 1. Now, if we want to list the domains, we're not paying attention to what's happening in between, like this little twist and turn. We're not caring about that. We want to know what value of X what's the lowest value of X that we got? And it looks like -2. And what's the highest value of X is right here at 2. Okay, so the domains we're looking at basically how wide, if I want to say. It's like how wide is my waist. Okay, so we're looking starting at -2 to +2. So my domain, I'm going to use just a capital letter D to represent my domain. My domain is going from -2 to +2. I'm only looking at the X values. Okay? Are we understanding that so far? Here we are at -2. Here we are at +2. So how wide? Okay? Yes? All right. But you're still here, Fent. You love it. Come on in. All right. So now, at this -2, there's a solid dot. Dot means it's included. So am I going to put a parenthesis or a bracket at the -2? Okay. Am I going to put a parenthesis or a bracket at the -2? Okay, I'm so earthy saying bracket. Kaya, hi Kaya, bracket. Patricio, bracket. Marvelli, bracket. My bracket. Cheese, bracket. Janice, bracket. Good. So now do you see why I slowly kind of reviewed the interval notation again? Now, bracket, it's included. Good. Princess, welcome back. Hello. All right, bracket. Good. All right. So now, right here, we're at +2. I notice at +2, it's not a closed dot. It's an open circle. So am I going to do a bracket or a parenthesis? Okay. Jan saying parenthesis. Chobani saying parenthesis. Kaya parenthesis. Maya parenthesis. Marvelli parenthesis. Princess parenthesis. Good. Okay. So I put a parenthesis right here. So what you just did was you told us that the domain of this red shape is from -2 all the way to +2. Okay, there's some other stuff that's happening in here. That means if I pick -1, okay, I'm going to find a Y value. If I pick 0, there's going to be a spot for me. If I pick 1, there's going to be a spot for me. If I pick 1.5, there is a spot on the graph. So you're saying my domain only goes from -2 to +2. Okay. Yes, parentheses means not included. Okay, it goes to that point, but it's not including that point. All right, so that's your domain. Now we need the other side of the coin, which is our range. And I'm going to write an R. So your range tells me how tall the graph is. So that means I need to look at its highest point and its lowest point. It has nothing to do with the y's of these points. So we want to know how tall it is. Well, this is the highest that it can go. And this is happening at, what's this, 5? Yep, 5. So my tallest point is happening here at 5. Good. My lowest point is happening down here. Good. For some of you guys who have it. Here at -3. Good. Okay. So 5 and -3. -3 and 5. 5 and -3. Good. -3. Antoinette with the -3. Good. So my range, remember, if we put in interval notation, you always start with the lowest number. So with the 3, the -3, and the 5, my lowest number is going to be a -3. And my highest number is going to be 5. Okay. Alba, almost there, Alba. Just one little tweak. One little tweak. Now, if we look, was there an open circle here? There wasn't. It was like a nice smooth graph. Just same thing up here. Nice, smooth graph. So it didn't have an opening. So since it didn't have an opening, that means they were included. Okay, they were an inclusive point. So that means at the -3, that's going to be a bracket, as well as the +5. Because there wasn't any holes, like little circles. It was a nice smooth curve. Yep. So not parentheses, it will be brackets for both. Okay, it's going to be brackets for both. There you go. Because when you don't see a hole, brackets, it's including those points. If there was a hole, parenthesis. Okay. All right, not too bad. Not too bad. Look at you guys doing advanced math. Yes, clack it, clack it. Sorry, I didn't mean to do that. I know. Okay. Because that's what's happening. Let's see if we can do another one. Before I get super technical. Oh, some comments. See, you guys just be coming on here and just being so freaky. Scared to see what those comments are. Or maybe TikTok's just being super sensitive. Let's keep it kosher. It's Sunday, guys. Jeez. Please. I cursed out 5 people today. God knows. He just knows. He's just like, oh, it's Audrey. I made her this way. I don't know why. What was I doing that day? I don't know, Lord. But whatever it is, you put too much of it inside of me. Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you, I'm so earthy. I try to keep things nice, easy, especially for people that are new. This is the platform really for people that never really felt comfortable with math. I want you to feel comfortable with math. Not so much to put myself out of a job because I'm also an online math tutor, but I want you to feel comfortable. I don't want you not being able to get a job or to move forward with your life because of your fear of math. So we just come on here, we do some basic concepts, and like I said, starting this week, we're going to have some pullouts. So I'm going to try to do some focus on GED, some focus on the ASVAB, as well as college algebra. But college algebra is a special little thing because you guys are all over the place. Every school, every district is in different spots right now. It's cray. Okay, never done this type of math before? Yeah. Do I touch on statistics? If I do, it's literally, it was just a flirty look. That's it. We're not dating. We're not talking, exchanging numbers. We'll just be hey, and just keep it moving. So that means I do mean, median, mode, the basic statistics. But if I'm doing anything more than standard deviation, no. But I did, if you go here, whoa, that's a major zoom. If we go here, okay, I did do a replay. If you're stuck on standard deviations, I did do a video on that. Okay, so just go here and then write that, and you'll be able to find it. Okay, so all of my lives are here. Okay, so if you ever need, oh, what did she say in that one live? Go ahead, have fun searching for it. Okay, all right, good. Yeah, once you kind of understand it, it's not too bad. It really isn't. But sometimes it's just a matter of me sitting down and basically trying to understand it. All right, so here we go. Do you show GED math? A lot. a lot. Now, the things that I'm showing you now with domain and range, those are considered 4-point questions on the GED. Sometimes they're hit or miss. It depends on what test they're giving. Sometimes they may put like 1 or 2 on there. Sometimes they might just put like 1 on there. And sometimes they don't put any on there. So I'd rather you be informed than shocked and then miss out on the opportunity to pass, because anything dealing with graphing, anything dealing with slope, equation of the line, they're 4-point questions, especially on the GED. And for those that probably just missed it by 3 points or 1 point, or maybe even 12, anything less than 20, it's probably because you skipped slope and you skipped any graphing stuff because you're like, oh, I don't know what to do with that. If you understand those are the meat and potatoes of the test. And if you get a couple, even just like 2, maybe 3 of those, and you do well with their basic arithmetic, you'll be able to pass the GED. Hands down. You'll be able to pass it. Okay? All right. What prime and composite numbers? Hey, that's all right. At least you learned it. Okay, thank you. Thank you for the plugs. Okay, you need my GED. Hey, let's go. Let's get it. Now, let's do this. So we're looking at our domain. Remember, the domain is the set of your x's, okay? So I want to go, how wide is my graph? So I notice I have an open circle here, but my x is at -2. I have a closed circle here, and my x is at 1. So it's going from -2 to +1. What did I say about the GED? What do you mean, the tests? Well, the test ranges in points, 1 through 4. Okay, so the test ranges in points. So basic math, like 1 plus 1, well, not 1 plus 1, they wouldn't do that, but like 1 plus -5, 1/2 plus 5 halves, things like that was a 1-point question. Okay, changing things from a decimal to a percent, that's like a 2-point question. Anything dealing with a graph, slope, equation of the line, system of equations, that's a 4-point question. 3-point questions might be setting up from a word problem to an algebraic expression. That would be considered 3 points. If you can hit most of those 4 points, like if you can get 2 or 3 of those 4-point questions and then do very well with the basic math, you'll be able to pass the GED. And the reason why a lot of you guys failed the GED is because you skipped the slope. I can tell you that right here now, based off of your score. If you scored anything below, if you were like a 12 and below, it's because you skipped the slope stuff. All the graphing. Okay. So now, since my lowest x is going to be -2, and my highest x is at 1, there's an open circle at the -2. So what should I put here? A parenthesis or a bracket? Yeah, I know. Okay, never took it. Good, parentheses. Good job, guys. Good. Shashan. Okay. All right. So that's going to be a parenthesis. And what do I put at the 1? And a bracket. Good. Go with a Glock. Good job. See, now you don't need the Glock anymore. Look at all that knowledge. All right, Princess, good. Jordan Squared, good. Jan, good. Okay, Marvelli, good. Yeah, put it down. You don't need it, baby. You don't need it. You're all right. All right, so that's how you find your domain. It's your x's. Oh, how wide you find your domain. It's your x's. Oh, how wide is your graph? Now, your range, where'd it go? Here it is. Your range is how tall is your graph. So we want to know what's the lowest to the highest. So my lowest is going to be where? Hey, Danny. I did inequalities as interval notations. Yeah, I did that. I did a little bit of it yesterday and possibly a couple days ago. Yes. So our lowest number is -5. Good. What's my highest number? And then Gippy, good. Excellent, Gippy, good. Alba, nice. Got Jordan good with the ones with ones, but it's up here, Janice. Alba, nice. Got Jordan good with the ones with ones, but it's up here, Janice. It's up. Pretty good, Janice. Good. All right. So my range, how tall? Domain, how wide? Okay. Since this is an open circle, that means this is going to be a parenthesis. And since this is a closed, this will be a bracket. What do you mean? It's not going to be a negative. It's going to be a regular one. Princess, what do you mean? Okay. 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 So it shows that I'm still paying attention. All right. Okay, so all we're doing is just identifying our domain. Always hear sirens in the background. Welcome to Baltimore. And plus, everyone's getting ready for the game. I'm not even sure if it's a home game or away game. They're playing the Bills. So, people tend to get a little feisty. Don't worry, I'm home. That's why I don't go out. Because, my God, that would be. And then I don't know when they're about to bring these National Guards. And I don't know. This is just trifling. Like I said, I think I said it to you yesterday. Like, where were you 2 years ago? When I lost, 3 students in a matter of a week. Where the hell were you? Now you want to bring National Guards now. Now. We all right. Okay, one more, and then we'll do this one. Okay, so I'm going to switch a little up. Okay, so here's our next one. Right? Yeah, if they do. Exactly. If it's an endpoint, it'll be brackets. Yes. If it does have an endpoint, it will be brackets. All right. So now, let's take a look. What do we notice? What's different this time? What's different? Ground? There we go, Antoinette. Okay. So we got arrows. Yes. We have arrowheads this time. So when you see arrowheads, this means it doesn't have a stop. It's going to keep going. Okay, it's going to keep going all the way. In this case, since my y-axis go up and down, and when you go down, you're going to keep going down to negative infinity. Okay, so it does not have a stop. Like this one had a stop, and this one had a stop. These, they had a stop because they had some endpoints. But this time, we don't have a stop. So what we're looking at is just a small snapshot. Have you ever gotten, well, you probably do, because if I zoom out, this is going to keep going. We're only seeing part of the picture. So what's going to happen is this is going to keep going down, but it's going down and going out at the same time. So when it comes to our domain, it's going to keep expanding as it's going down, and it's going to keep expanding. It's very slow, but it's going to keep expanding as it goes out. So my domain, oops, wrong color, in this case, since it's going to keep going in the negative direction, because it's going down and it's going out in the negative direction, and it's also going down and going out in the positive direction. So that means my domain is from negative infinity to positive infinity. And both have parentheses. Okay, and both have parentheses. Now, if you don't like that one, here's another thing. Remember earlier we kind of talked about it? 2 sticks and a capital R. This is the symbol for all real numbers. So this is representing all real numbers as an interval notation. This is the symbol for all real numbers, which is a capital double R. Okay, you draw 2 sticks and you just draw a big capital R around it. I know, gangster, it's so hard. Okay. Man, you don't get. All right. I know, right? Everybody's okay? All right. Sorry, I had to handle something real quick. Okay. All right. So that's going to take care of your domain. So that's all real numbers. But look at our range. You can't say your range is all real numbers because it's not going up to positive 2. It's not going up to 3 or 4 or 268. It's hitting a ceiling at 1. So I'm going from 1, but I'm going all the way down. And since I have arrowheads, and here's the thing, I know someone's going to ask me, what happens if there's 1 arrowhead? That's not possible. There's going to be 2, unless there is like some kind of stop. Like if this was a circle and then this was an arrowhead, yeah, you won't see that. You always see like 2 arrowheads, especially at this level. Okay. So the lowest is going to be, for my range, it's going to be that negative infinity. Because the arrows are going all the way down to negative infinity. But the highest it's going to go is right here at 1. Okay. Good, Tyson. Good. Sun laughing. Nice. I love it. I love it. Good. You guys are doing so well with this. Now, there is no circle. Okay? There's no circle. It's a continuous curve. So that means it's including the 1. So we're going to put a bracket. Okay? But infinities, regardless if it's positive or negative, it's always a parenthesis. Okay? Yeah, you were right. Like, what? I was right? Yes, you were. Okay? No, we're not going to do end behaviors tonight. Nope, nope, nope. That's usually for my advanced stuff. Okay. All right, so we're just doing domain and range. How are we feeling with this? Explain again. Okay, so we have the arrowheads that's going down. Okay, all the way to negative infinity. But the highest point that we have for our range is a 1. So remember, when you're putting in interval notation, you always have your lowest number, which is negative infinity, your highest, which is at 1. So parentheses always goes with infinity, regardless if it's positive or negative. But since there isn't a hole up here, it's a continuous graph, okay, because we can see the red curve. That means that 1 is being included. So it will be a bracket. Okay. All right. I have tutoring. Yep, you can hire me as your tutor. I can help you with the TEAS test questions. All right, not a problem. Yep. 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 And that's true. Because you got here, if there's anything, you got your, you can go here. Got that. All right. And it has everything, and you just look where it says this. Because I got a couple playlists. Okay, so if you look up that. And then plus, also, if you type in my name, I have a playlist that says GED playlist. Like, there's some stuff in there that has the videos that you can take a look at right here on TikTok. Okay? So you got options. Can't say we don't give you any options here. I don't even know what this thing is called, but no, I like to give you some options. Okay, so let's do a few more, and then we're going to close her out. Okay, so while I'm setting this up, go ahead and tap it out. Let's see what we can. Because I know some of you guys saw me on your FYP and you're like, oh my gosh, this is exactly what I need. So wouldn't it be nice if we can return the favor and maybe have some other people find me as well? Okay. I know there's this new STEM talk that we're doing. I have no idea, but it is here. Okay. All right. So Antoinette, 58, not in school, about to retire, just interested in math all my life. Awesome. Well, welcome, Antoinette. You're doing awesome. What are you going to do when you retire? She's like, anything I damn near want to. Because I know that'll be my attitude. Like one day, I can't wait till I get old enough where people are not so like intimidated by me. Like if I wanted to walk out and be like, oh yeah, I didn't mean to take that packet of hot dogs and skillet and relish and buns. Like you just walk out like, oh, I forgot. No, you didn't. Over here stealing stuff. Semi-retired, enjoy math. All right. Okay. You're 50? How are you semi-retired? Want to open a floral and gift store? Oh, that's cool. Yes, Midtown Girl Diaries. Look at this. Look at all this intelligence over here. I'm loving this, guys. Loving this. Yep. Okay. Sun laughing. We got this as well. Good. Okay. Yep, 0 is also included. Yep. Because 0 is definitely a real number. So, as you can tell, we have arrowheads. When we see arrowheads, right away, that means this is going down and out slowly. This is going up and out slowly. And it's going to cover all of my x values. So this is why people are saying from negative infinity to positive infinity. Okay, that's all real numbers. Okay. Now, my y's. Hey, we don't have just a curve. We don't have a parabola here. They're saying that this is going to keep going all the way to negative infinity. They're saying that this is going to keep going up all the way to negative infinity. So that means my range is also all real numbers. Okay. Yep. So the name of this is called a cubic function. Okay, a cubic function. So when you see those x cubes or x to the third power, that's what this graph looks like. Why wouldn't be a 0 included? 0 is included. It's right there. It's a part of that graph. Yep. Oh. Sorry. I had to do the puzzle piece thingy. Okay. All right. So let's play a little game. I think 3, 4, 5, 6. It's a total of 6 problems. And what I would love for you to do is tell me what the domain is, and then tell me what the range is. So we're going to play a little matching game. So 1 second. Because I want you guys peeking. All right. Now, what will be the domain And what would be the range? And let me make this a little bit darker, because this is supposed to be a 4? Nope, an 8. That's supposed to be a positive 8. This is a positive 6. This is a negative 5. And this is a positive 8. So let's see what you got. What's my domain? What do you think is my domain? And if you're not sure, remember you got question marks, but give it a try. Give it a try. What do you think is my domain? Okay, Janice, I got you. Oh, because it didn't stop at 0. That's why you can't write the interval as negative infinity to 0, because it was going up. It didn't stop at 0. It kept going up. It had an arrowhead. So that's why it was going from one place to the next. Okay. So free to me is saying negative 5 and 8. Princess is saying 6. Okay. Light shadow is saying, is that 6 or negative 6? That should be a negative 6. Thank you. Okay, Marvelli is saying negative 4. Negative 4, positive 7. Sashan saying negative 5 and 8. And the range is negative 6 and 8. And Kai is saying negative 5 and 8. The domain is negative 5 and 8. The range is negative 6 and 8. That's what Light Shadow is saying. Prince is saying negative 6. Mel saying the domain is negative 5 and 8. Sun laughing is saying domain is negative 5 and 8. Car is saying negative 5 to positive 8. Okay, got you. So interval for light shadow. You forgot my format. Okay, thank you. So the range we got there, negative 6 and 8, including negative 6. Princess Carla is saying negative 6 and 8, but the negative 6 is not included. Okay. So we have negative 5 and 8, okay, and they are not included. All right, so my domain, remember, it's how wide it is. So it has an endpoint technically here where my x is negative 5, that's my lowest. Then there's another one here where my endpoint is at 8. And since it's open, they're both going to have parentheses. Both going to be parentheses. Now my range deals with the lowest point and the highest point. Okay, so it's not going down, it's not arrowing down, so it's not going on to negative infinity. It's hitting this low point here where is at negative 6. But then the highest, it doesn't stop here. It's going up to this tallest one up here. And that's hitting it when my y value is 8. So my lowest is negative 6. My highest is a positive 8. But since there's no circle, no breakage whatsoever down here at the negative 6, that means it's including that negative 6. But at 8, it's an open circle. Okay, so it's not stopping here. So that means it's a parenthesis. Just testing me? Okay. All right. Good. Is included. Okay. All right. Let's try another one. All right. Try this one. Okay. Domain and range. Okay, so Sun Laughing is saying -5 and 5, and they're included. Range is -6 and 6, and they're included. Amanda's saying domain is -5, -6, and range is -6 and -6. Princess Carla is saying -3 and 0. Shashan is saying -5 and 5 for the domain and -6 and 6 for the range, including Big Al. How are you? Oh, you're not sure? We gotta work on your confidence, girl. We got to work on that confidence. Sharon! Sharon, I need to talk to you after our live. Because I have you on my list of things to do, and I swear, every time I'm about to like call you, something happens. Because before I came on, I was like, so I got a message on LinkedIn. I'm like, oh. Sorry. So the top 6 is a typo, or is it -6? Yeah, that should be a +6. That is definitely a typo. This is what happens when you pull stuff from the internet. Okay, Princess was saying 4 and -3. All right, forgot the sign. No, you were fine. Never mind. There you go. Yeah, you were fine. You were fine. Okay, so here we go. The domain is dealing with how wide things are. So my lowest number is right here at -5. And my highest number, this spot here, that should be at +5. Since they are both closed endpoints, that means these are included. So we got brackets. For our range, that's how tall it is. So the lowest we're going is right here at -6. And the highest, this should be a positive 6. And since there are closed, that means we're including them. Okay. Let's see, we got like 3, possibly 4 more. Possibly. You guys are like taking this on like champs. I love it. So how's it feel to do advanced math without freaking out? Because you guys are doing well. And I know some of you guys are like, I haven't got one right. Well, did you put it in the chat? No. So how was I supposed to know you got it right or wrong? Got to face our fears, people. We got a lot of fears to face, but we still need to face them on. That's the only way we're going to conquer them. Okay? All right. Let's try this one. What's my domain? What's my range? Not you? So the domain, you know I'm guessing. Nicole, how are you? Okay. So here's my thing. And this is the one thing about math that makes me crazy. Do we see endpoints? Do we see endpoints? Do we actually see a point? No. Good. Because there's no endpoints here. So when there's no endpoints, I know some textbooks does this, it will be considered arrowheads. It will be considered an ongoing line. I know, it's confusing. I don't know why. It really should just have arrowheads on there. It doesn't cost that much. But if you don't see dots, that means there's not an endpoint. It just keeps on going. Okay, so that might change some of you guys' answers. Okay. Okay, so that's why. Okay, so Sun Laughing is saying infinity, infinity for both the domain and range. Shashin saying the domain was all real numbers and your range is from -4 to 4. Switch the signs for range. So Big Al is saying from 0 to infinity. Okay. Because I have to remember you came in a little bit later. Okay. All right. So I don't want to add it because some books will have this. If there is not endpoints here, that means it keeps going. And they're considering it as a continuous line. Okay. Why? I don't know. I didn't make the book. I'm just telling you what they think it is. So if it keeps going on both ends, what will be my domain and my range? No, not where it crosses the line. Not where it crosses the line. And I think you just got here as well flavored. Okay. So, if it has arrowheads, let me reiterate, that means it's going to keep going on and on and on and on and on all the way to negative infinity. This is going to keep going on and on and on and on and on and on all the way to positive infinity. So my domain is basically all real numbers from negative infinity to positive infinity. But looking at my y's, this is going to keep going on this way, but it's also going up. It's going out and up. So that's going all the way to y in the positive direction. And this is going down, out and down. So it's going all the way to negative infinity. So your range is also all real numbers. So here's the secret. Ready? If your graph is a line, your domain and your range will always be all real numbers. If your graph is a line, okay, it will always be all real numbers for both the domain and the range, because you keep going all the way to the x version of positive infinity, the y version of positive infinity, the x's version of negative infinity, and the y's version of negative infinity. You're just all going. Okay? So anytime you get a straight line and they ask for domain and range, all real numbers. Okay? Every single solitary time. It's not going to switch up on this situation, that situation. All real numbers. All right. Yeah. Got it? Okay. Okay, so does that clear things up? Okay, Princess, does this clear things up? Okay. All right, good. Olive, Kaden. Yes, okay. So if it had points, yeah, if it had like an end point here, okay, something like, if it had an end point here, yeah, there's a stopping point. If it had an end point down here, yeah, that's a stopping point. But anytime it has arrows and it's just a straight line, it's always going to be all real numbers in both directions. Okay. All real numbers, diagonal, horizontal. Okay. Okay. Is this going to be on the GED? Hells yes. Yes, definitely. Yes. Okay. These are 4-point questions. I think you probably missed when I said that. Yep. These are 4-point questions. All right. Now let me, ooh, that is a major zoom. Okay, let's go with, oh, wait, hold on. That's 6, that's -4. -2. All right, possibly 2 more. What's that? Oh. Actually, Okay, so this is a positive 6. That's a negative 4, a negative 2, and a positive 6. Yep. So what's my domain? What's my range? Okay, so Shaston's saying my domain is negative 4, 6. My range is negative 2, 6, and both of them are not included. For vectors, matrices, scalars. Yeah, no, this is for interval notation. Okay, do you count these by 2s? Yes. Okay, so 6, negative 6. So that will be which one? Domain or range? So we have 6 and 6. Negative 4 and 6. So remember, your domain is left to right, your range is up and down, or actually down and up. Left to right, down and up. Okay, Jan saying domain is negative 4 and 6. I think I said Marvelli is negative 4 and 6. Good for domain. Okay. Range, you're saying negative 2, positive 6. Domain negative 4 and 6. Good. Fate cometh. Good. Jordan Square is saying domain is negative 4 and 6. And range is negative 2 and 6. Both not included, or both sets not included. Okay. Okay, the range, you're saying negative 2 and 6. Okay, Princess Carla saying negative 4 and 6 for your domain. There you go. Okay. Nicole, where are we going? Okay. So for our domain, that's left to right. We're starting here at this first point. My x value here is at negative 4. So that's my lowest number. And then it goes down. Here's my highest x value, which is at 6. And since both of them are open circles, they're not including those points. So they're both going to be parentheses. Now your range deals with the lowest to the highest point. So it deals with the y's. So my lowest y is here at negative 2. And my y is at positive 6. So since they are open circles, they're not being included, so they're also parentheses. Okay, so key thing, domain, x's, range, y's. The domain left to right, the range bottom to top. Okay. All right. Yep. One more, last one. Tell me what my domain and my range is. So you got Princess Carla with -3, 0. Sun laughing. The domain is all real numbers and the range is from -3 to positive infinity. Shashan saying domain is all real numbers. Your range is all real numbers. Marvelly is saying positive infinity for both. Never mind. My bad at this point. I keep forgetting the rules. Okay. So Jan's saying negative infinity to positive infinity. Assuming that for the domain. You used to know this. It's okay. I'm not here to judge. I'm not, it's like, seriously. Okay? I'm not here for judgment at all. Domain is left to right. Range is up and down. There you go. Okay. Big Al's not sure. Okay. What's next after high school math? Depending on to what extent. Because then you have like discrete algebra. Some people have intro to statistics when it goes really further than just mean, median, mode. What was the other one? Some people do Calc 3. Some people do algebra for business. It's like a whole... Okay. So Princess Carla saying -3, 2. Faith comment by that saying the range is -3, 1. Doing my last year master's architecture. Oh, nice. Big Al saying -4, 1. Okay, not quite understanding the domain. I'm missing something. Yep. Okay, curious. Have you ever taken physics 1? If I did, it was many moons ago. Last time I took physics was high school, and that was a long time ago. I'm going to be 53 soon, so yeah. Many moons ago. Is the arrows? Yes. What does the arrows mean? Yes, it is an absolute value graph. Good. But what does the arrows mean? It does take effect with something. Physics is hard. It probably depends on how you see it, because you can actually see what's happening. I really want to use double R. Circle. No. All right. So, okay, it's not all real numbers. Yeah, I know. It's not all real numbers. Well, actually, you do want to, and you can. Because we have these arrowheads, that means it's going up and out. So it's covering all of my x's. So this is where you can use your double R. Okay? So your domain is covering all of your x's all the way to negative infinity and all of your x's all the way to positive infinity. Okay? So your arrowhead is telling you there's no stopping point. It keeps going and growing and expands out. Whereas your range, it's going up and it's going up to positive infinity, but it's not going all the way down to negative infinity. It's basically starting right here at -3. So it's going from -3 all the way up to positive infinity. So that means my lowest point is going to be at -3. My highest is going to be positive infinity. So since there's no circle there, there's no break there, it's including our -3, but parentheses always gets a, inequality always, inequality. Oof, I need to go. Infinity always gets a parenthesis. There we go. Okay. All right, so you got the range. Yeah. Okay. You should have known. That's okay. All right. So that is your domain and range. So again, if you guys came in a little late and you're like, I feel like I didn't get everything, this is what you need to do. You need to go here. Whoops. Need to go here. Type in that in search. And then you'll see something in my listing where it says TikTok replays. So all of my TikToks since February 2nd, give me some time for tonight because sometimes, especially Sundays, it always seems to take extra long. So it might be up actually like tomorrow. I will try to download it as soon as we get done with this. And if you can, go ahead. Hit your subscribe, hit your like, hit your comment, okay? Share. Same thing with this. If you know somebody that is currently taking maybe algebra 1. I go up from 7th grade all the way up to adults. So I have algebra 1, algebra 2, college algebra, trig, some geometry, pre-calculus, not that AP pre-calculus. I don't know what that is. That's ridiculous. Okay, if you're doing GED, has ASVAB. The IBEW, so if you're trying to be an electrician apprentice, you have to pass that test, and that has algebra into it. Praxis, been helping some people with their praxis. Some people, we might have to do something different because every state does something different for teachers, but yet they want all the kids to learn exactly the same. Make that make sense. ACCUPLACER, and if you're doing the entry exam for nursing, sometimes people call it the T's. There's so many different letters of the alphabet they want to put together, but if it's that or high school equivalency, if you don't know what GED is, I can help with those types of math. Now, also, if you're just like, hey, I would love to learn more, or hey, my math is really not that strong, we got a couple options here. We either can go the private tutoring route or maybe even small group, which I'm going to be doing some pull-outs soon. But I also have a couple courses that is geared for your GED, the ASVAB, the ACCUPLACER. If you're taking the T's, you can get the one that says Foundation to Algebra because that is the one that can help you out. So if you know that, hey, math is just not my thing, or I haven't seen a positive or a negative in a long period of time, you might want to check out that Foundation to Algebra. Now, here's just a brief run through. Like, this is basically what that course looks. It covers everything. I'm still flipping. Okay, so I have 16 chapters all together, starting with what types of numbers there are, and you're ending with the probability and some of the geometry. But yes, I do like quizzes in there. I also do practice. You have composition. So everything that's going to be like your GED, they have certain types. Some things have a little bit more than others. Some of these repeat, especially like the factoring, the equation of the line, the slope. That's repetitive in all of these spots, of all 4 of these spots. But there are certain things that say GED might dig a little bit deeper in, especially volume, anything with filling up space. ASVAT, that's what I was really talking about, the ASVAT. The GED, it'll just hit heavy on your slope and your equation line, factoring, system of equations. ACCUPLACER, it hits all of that, okay? So depending on what you're looking for, this is where you can go to sign up for it, okay? Now, if you like my notebooks, okay, I have a couple of notebooks here, and I know some people were trying to, and I'm actually having a sale on the notebooks. So if you like how this notebook is structured, where you have a section where you can put the formula, you got a place with the steps, you have a blank space where you can do some work on one side and on the other, okay? You can take bits and pieces of your worksheets. If there's something in particular that you need, like maybe some word problems, you can cut it and tape it on one side. And if you want to summarize what you've done on the other side, you can do that as well. But not only that, you also in the back portion, we have a resource page. Now with the resource pages, we have right away the factors chart. So everything from 1 to 200, what are those factors? Helps you break down information for factoring, helps you to break down radicals, figure out your LCM, your least common multiple, or even your greatest common factor. You have all that, plus what operations or words that goes with certain operations, square and cubes, as well as the rules of integers. Then we have inequalities and interval notation. We have order of operations, properties of exponents, linear and quadratic. Then fractions, how to add, subtract, multiply, divide fractions. The same with decimals. And then place values, as well as the measure of central tendencies. Just a reminder, then the measure of variance, that's what your range is. Then also distance, speed, and time, trying to figure out what that formula is. Then you have your arithmetic and your geometric sequence, as well as your system of equations, systems of inequalities, graphing linear inequalities, Pythagorean theorem, a little bit of trig, volume, surface area, area and perimeter. So it has all the things and all the major formulas, especially this book in particular is designed for pre-algebra and algebra 1. Okay, so if you want to, okay, if you need this book, this is where you can go to order it right there. Okay, take a little screenshot of it. I'm going to take it away in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So that's where you can go to get your lovely notebooks. But not only do you have regular notebooks, if you're a lefty, I have a lefty version. Notice how it opens. Ooh, ah, okay. So it's a true left-handed notebook. So if you're my lefties out there, if you know someone, to show them some love and have a notebook that is just designed for math. So you have that. Now, if you want, all of these books are on sale for the month of September for $10.29, not including tax and delivery, but that's the prime cost of it. It's usually around $21, and I'm breaking it down for $10.29. Okay, so if you like my notes and you're just like, you know what, Audrey, I just want your notes. I like how you write. Your handwriting is nice. Okay. I have this book called Audrey's Notes. So it's a copy of all the notes that I display here on TikTok. And if you notice, it's all in color. Okay. So we still have that section with the formulas and the steps. But what's different is there's a QR code. If you scan this QR code, it will take you directly to the live that's associated with this page. So for this one was rational expressions. This happened May 2nd in 2025. And I will walk you through step by step how I actually did these problems on this side as well as this side. Okay, so it just kind of takes you through. It's almost like having a tutor all to yourself. You know, all you have to do is just basically go here. You're taking a look at the formulas, you scan, and then it just walks you through step by step. This one is book 3. I have books 1 through 5 available. You can either get it on the A, but if you go to the A, you're not going to get the special deal because the A would not let me. And the A is the brown box with the smile on it. So they wouldn't let me do my little special deal. But through here, I was able to do it. And this book is worth, all of my books is worth like $10.29. All right. Okay. Well, thank you. Okay. So each book, just like all my lives, it's not consistent. It's not like, oh, okay, she's talking about slope and she's talking about this. It jumps around, okay? But sometimes some of the things repeat. Sometimes the things don't. A lot of people ask, oh, which books, if you could pick, would be a good combo? Me, personally, what a good combo will be book 3 and 4. With books 3 and 4. If I had to go with 3 combos, it would be 3, 4, and 5. 6 is what we're currently working on. Okay, so 3, 4, and 5 will be a good combo. But if you can't afford all 5, I'm not asking you to do that, but if you can't, I would go with 3, 4, and 5. 2's not bad, but 3, 4, and 5 is a nice little combo. I liked how I was doing stuff then. Okay. Now, you don't need an ASVAB book. You need instruction. Now, speaking of ASVAB, I ordered the latest ASVAB for Dummies. Mad thick. That's what she said. So ASVAB for Dummies. Now, here's my thing. If you're thinking about buying ASVAB for Dummies, which I still think is a good book, the reason why a lot of people don't like this book, let me show you why. Look at this. I know our society. Okay? Look at this. It's going to require you to do a lot of reading. Our society is not a very big reading society. Everyone likes to do things on TV. Okay? So, because they do, and the reason why I do like this book is because the way their questions are is very similar to what you're going to see on the test. That's the only reason why I got this. Okay? But here's my thing. Like, say after you do a section, and then they have the explanation. Like, say, okay, this is the English portion. So here's the English portion, right? All right, so these are the answer keys. So that means you have to look at the answer key. So if I try, let me see if I can find math. Okay. All right, so we got a couple of practice problems here. Okay, so this is like the answer keys to some of the explanation. And at least they give you step by step. But sometimes just by you looking at it, you're like, what? How did they do that? How did it get from here to here? And they're like, well, it shows you that it's subtracting the 2. But because they're subtracting the 2 like this, as opposed to, how should I put it? As opposed to like if I, that's not a good example. Hold on, let me see if I can find a pretty decent example. So I'm trying to find like a solving an equation. It's not gonna be in that. Let me go with, because we did equations not too long ago. But because the equation, they're solving it and they're putting it just like they do in Europe. They do it all in one line. Whereas we in the States, we like to do it as a funnel. Okay? And I'm trying to find a good example that you can see it. All right, so let's say something like this question here for number 2. So if I were to solve this, I would subtract 9 on both sides. But notice I'm subtracting the 9 underneath it. Whereas here, they're adding 5 on both sides to cancel, but they're putting it horizontally, whereas we do it vertically. And this gets confusing, and then people are like, I don't know what to do. So it's not so much you need another ASVAB book. You need someone to break concepts down to you that is going to be in the ASVAB and really give you a moment to practice and give you a moment to reflect on what you just learned. Okay? So, because there's tons of ASVAB, and here's the secret. Ready? I have the 2023. Okay, so I already have the 2023. It's the same exact stuff. They just changed the cover. Everything inside is exactly the same. So if you do go to the A and you want to buy like 2023s and it's cheaper, go ahead and do that. It's exactly the same questions. It's exactly the same problems. Everything's exactly the same. Okay, whistleblower. Here I go. Okay. I have to take my practice. I'll email you again and message you. Okay. Please do, because I'm not getting your messages. I replied to all my messages so far. The only person I didn't was Sharon. That was the only person I missed. That was the only person I was supposed to do today. Okay. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Okay. So, but at the same time, I am going to be doing some systems where it's like a simple $5, but am I going to go into full on detail? Like, I'm basically going to teach one concept and stick with that one concept during that session. Okay. I'm basically going to teach one concept and stick with that one concept during that session. Okay. So I'm trying to look at some of the concepts that we're doing and then try to give some samples, and for you, like, here's a test question, how would you solve it, type of thing, what should you do, how can you do process elimination. Like, I'm really trying to, when I do these I hate to say pullouts, but when I do these $5 sessions, it's really for people that are like right there, about to take the test within like a month or a month and a half, and just to really touch on those concepts that you'll be okay with. And I'm only really hitting on serious people. So don't worry, there will be posts made. I don't know what happened to today. I had the time, and then time just went away. It's all kinds of cray-cray. But anyway, I'm going to wrap up. I'm going to see if I can watch the rest of 90 Day Fiancé. No, I'm just kidding. No, I just have to finish up laundry and all that fun stuff. But if you do feel like you want to support me, there's a couple of ways. If you want, you can support me here. Okay, that's perfectly fine. Or you can go here and write me a review. Okay, that will be amazing. Because right now we all know that the gifts is what's TikTok is using to, I don't know, go to the moon or something. But if you could do one of these two, that will be amazing, because it will help me get more people in, as well as to help more people like yourselves. If you want me as a tutor and you're serious about it, and you're like, you know what, I really want to get this GED, I really want to get this praxis, I want to get my ASVAB score up, make sure you reach out to me, okay? Even if you have a youngster that's like maybe 4th grade, and that's usually not, if you have a youngster that's like maybe 4th grade, and that's usually not my students, but I do know people who are certified and can tutor that grade level. So just reach out. You just let me know what you need, and I got you. Okay? All right. Football's on. I know, it's the Bills. No, I'm just kidding. Because you never know. Hell, the Eagles almost lost the other night. I always have a predicament. It's always when the quarterback's wife or girlfriend or whatever is expecting, they don't have a good year. I don't know what it is. So far, I've been right so far. So, I don't know. Maybe because they're like so distracted or something. I don't know what it is. But so far, I've been right. Okay. I know the Ravens is your team. We're not playing tonight. You know somebody's boo thing's pregnant up in there. Every time I turn around, someone's in the news. Oh my word. They crack me up. No, I better not even say that. Because all hell's gonna break loose. Audrey, how'd you get there? So anyway. Anywho. So if you have any questions whatsoever, do not hesitate to reach out. I know, I'm just going to keep it going now. I'm just going to keep it going. If you have any questions whatsoever, please don't hesitate. Just be on the lookout when I'm talking about the whole $5 service. So you'll know which days I'm actually going to be tutoring, or basically doing a whole hour or two as whatever I do, the whole free service one, versus the ones when I don't want you to come and be shocked and surprised. You're like, what do you mean that was the end of the free version and you're leaving? What say what? so you won't be like shocked and surprised. Okay, so that's what we're doing. All right, okay, everyone, have a lovely night. I'm gonna wrap this up, and I'm gonna see if I can go to bed at a decent hour. My body might go in shock, but we're gonna give it a try. We are going to give it a try. All right, you are so welcome. Just let me know how I can help, and just be on the lookout, because I really want you to be successful. Continue to be amazing, incredible individuals. Okay, it just takes one to make a huge change. And the mere fact that you spent your time with me, I greatly appreciate it, because you could easily just been doing other things. All right, have an amazing night, and I will see you tomorrow. All right, bye.